Chip the Wizard here. It is day 6 of quitting nicotine with mushrooms. I do trust that I did have a spiritual awakening because I cut contact from the whole world and I lived in isolation for 2 years. And during those 2 years, I put on podcasts where I was able to put names, words, labels to the things that was going inside me and around me. I lived within the seasons of change. I learned about plant medicine. I ate food that was hunted and gathered. For those 2 years, I stopped chasing, fighting, and I started connecting to different frequencies of consciousness. With that being said, I had an understanding. No, I did not have an understanding. I had a deep knowing of many things. And for the past few years, I've been putting that knowledge to the test, and those tests have been too much. I could not keep up. In the attempt of keeping up, that was very frustrating. I knew what was going on around me. I knew what was supposed to be going on. And I knew how I should have responded. But I didn't, because things just kept on happening way too fast for me to react or respond. It was only a few days later where I realized, hold up, I knew how I should have done this and that. But however, to save cognitive load, I went back into old habits of dealing with situations. I am consistently inconsistent. I do a routine for a while, and then I get bored and then I start a new routine. And I always go back to the same routine of going to bed at 10, waking up with the sunrise, or waking up whenever my body wants to, having a 30-second walk and a big drink of water, and then whatever the brain thinks is most urgent to put focus towards. Everything consistently changes. So even though that I'm inconsistently consistent, I'm consistently adapting and changing. And I constantly feel like I am not keeping up because there are so many things to do. I guess that is the end of day quitting nicotine with mushrooms. The reason that I did this experiment is because I want to do events. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll figure that out later. I'll start by doing waste management at events and festivals and make my way into the workshops. I might just host workshops at these events to get started. I guess these events that I want to host is based around health, fitness, wellness. I'm experimenting with these journaling kits with a special thing inside. Notepads, a whole bunch of pens. I'm also not overly happy with the dating culture in Australia. It's a game that I do not want to play. I do not want to be taking people to restaurants for a date. I do not like restaurants. Overall, I just don't know how dating culture works. So I know how it works. I just don't understand it. I don't like it. My love language is giving acts of service. That is the one that I'm most comfortable and familiar with. That is something that I can give unconditionally. And I'll receive love by words of affirmation. I do not need to know that my outfit looks good or what I'm doing is good. I just need to know that what I'm doing is not upsetting you. And even if I am upsetting you, it makes me feel loved if you're telling me that I'm upsetting you. I've also been brainwashing myself, trying to figure out the delulu, words of affirmation, gaslighting myself into... I lie to myself all the damn time. And I really appreciate when people call me out on lies that I'm telling myself. That's a whole nother story. I have no idea where I was going with that. I was talking about love languages and these events, being a part of dopamine detox, wellness, mental resets, habit stacking, basic education on going back to the basics of living, learning to be more mindful and self-aware of what's going on around us and what's going on inside us, figuring out what our reality is so we can step out and start being curious about other people's reality, doing shadow work, identifying what invisible walls we have built around us and figuring out how to knock those walls down, healing from generational trauma, remembering who we were before people told us who we should be, break the generational beliefs that were passed down that are no longer helping us. There's a whole lot of things that I want to do. The basics of it all is waste management, not only physical items, but the emotional waste that we are carrying. Sort it all out, figure out what can be upcycled or recycled or what can be burnt and what can be... I was about to say what emotional burdens that we don't want to carry and we can donate to other people, but I don't think that's a good way to put it. Just figure out the physical and mental waste that we don't need to be dealing with. I guess this is the end of the quitting nicotine journal vlog. I'm pretty much done with it. There's nothing else much to say. The mushrooms really helped. I really hope that I can share this knowledge with other people. I'll figure out how I can do that. I don't want to gatekeep it. This mushroom literally saved my life from severe alcohol addiction. It changed my life for the better. I do have this mushroom to thank for the person who I am today. So I guess I'm going to put a lot of intention towards plant medicine and sharing it around. Stay tuned for that. Much love. Bye.